Hi, this is Alex from devstories.eu. High Performance Python Async, episode 11 of 17. You write a standard SQL query to filter records. You pass a list of values into your query parameters, just like you have done in dozens of other database libraries. Postgres immediately throws a syntax error. The issue is not your data. The problem is how you handle Postgres arrays and IN clauses. This is the #1 syntax error for developers migrating to asyncpg from other database interfaces. In many older libraries, the driver intercepts your query string. If you pass a Python list to an IN clause, the library rewrites the SQL string on the fly. It expands your list into a comma-separated string of individual parameters before sending it to the database. Asyncpg does not do this. It relies entirely on native Postgres server-side prepared statements. Here is the key insight. In standard PostgreSQL, the IN operator requires a comma-separated list of scalar values wrapped in parentheses. It does not accept a single array object. When you pass a Python list to asyncpg as a parameter, asyncpg maps that list directly to a native Postgres array. Your query ends up evaluating as an expression IN an array object, which is invalid syntax. Postgres expects an expression IN value 1, value 2. To fix this, you must stop using the IN operator for parameterized lists. Instead, use the Postgres any function. The logic changes from asking if a value is IN a list to asking if a value equals any item inside an array. The any operator is designed specifically to work with Postgres array types. It evaluates the value on the left, checks the array on the right, and returns true if it finds a match. You also need to tell Postgres what kind of array it is receiving by casting your parameter. If you expect an array of text strings, you cast your parameter explicitly to a text array. This explicit typecasting guarantees that Postgres knows exactly how to plan and execute the query without guessing the underlying data type of the incoming binary stream. Consider a scenario where you are filtering a list of products. You want to match the product category against a dynamically provided list of user-selected categories. You write a query to select products where the category equals any parameter 1, and you cast parameter 1 to a text array. In your Python code, you call your database fetch method. You pass the query string as the first argument and your Python list of strings like electronics and books as the second argument. Asyncpg packages your Python list into a binary Postgres text array and sends it over the wire as a single parameter. Postgres receives the query, sees the text array, and efficiently matches the categories using the any function. This approach is strictly better than string manipulation. Because the query structure never changes regardless of how many categories are in the list, Postgres parses and plans the statement exactly once. The database caches the query plan, saving execution time on subsequent calls. You also eliminate the risk of SQL injection, since the data is transmitted in binary form, completely separate from the query text. If you pass a Python list to a database parameter, treat it as a native array, cast it to the correct type, and evaluate it with the any function. That is all for this one. Thanks for listening, and keep building.